Hey everybody, welcome back to Kamerion Sports Podcast. It's your host here, Cameron Lindsay, back for another episode. Like I said, I have a special guest again. As you recognize my father, Michael Gavin.
I'm back.
I meant to say before we even record, like, why you got this stuff on?
Hey, it's a team, man. Represent my team all day long.
Yeah, NFL season coming up. Yeah, and get into that. But today we're gonna be talking about some college football. It's week 1. Like I said, college football is back. We're gonna, obviously gonna talk about last week, week 0. Also give my predictions on the 12-team college football playoff, which teams I think will win each conference, who I think is gonna make the 12-team playoff, who I think is gonna face each other. I'm not gonna give my national championship pick yet. I mean, unless you want to give yours.
Not yet. It's too early.
Okay, well,
it's too early.
Let's get right into it. So, like I said, week 0 was last week, headlined by Georgia Tech and number 10 Florida State. And like I said, I thought Florida State would at least win by 10 or more. Because, like I said, I know Georgia Tech's last year, they are a good team, a decent team, but Florida State just got more talent. Even though they did lose Keon Coleman, Jared Verse, Brandon Fisk to the NFL draft, Jordan Travis. But, you got DJ Ungale, transfer from Oregon State, and a former Clemson Tiger. So I just thought, and plus the head coach Mike Novell, he's a really, really good coach. Even though they did get blown out against Georgia in the Orange Bowl, but a lot of their players sat out, didn't even play in that game. But even regardless, I thought they was gonna get blown out anyway. But Florida State is a good team. They recruit very well. But like I said, I know Georgia Tech just got a new head coach too, so I mostly expected at least like a 24-14 type of game. But that wasn't the case. Georgia Tech upset Florida State 24-21. It was a really good game. I'm glad it was, but I was shocked. Like I said, was talking before we started recording. DJ Ungale, he did miss some throws. Receivers did
drop some
passes. They didn't run the ball all that well. So, but Georgia Tech, they played very well. Like I said, they looked good on both ends. The O-line, especially the right side. The D-line played well. Haynes King, transfer quarterback from Texas A&M. He looked good, pretty decent, and he ran the balls pretty decently well. And they have fast, good receivers also.
Right. Georgia Tech, he's one of those teams that you cannot take lightly. They have a good team. It seemed like some of the games just kind of come up short. But you can base it off last year. They beat Miami. They beat North Carolina. Georgia only beat them by 1 score. So you have to look at that. And I think this year they team is a little better, basing off the game that we seen last week with them beating Florida State. And I just think Florida State didn't take them serious enough. And that's what happened.
I mean, that is true, especially being a neutral site game in Dublin, Ireland. But like I said, Georgia Tech is a good team. Now they do got a hard schedule. I know I've seen people saying, they think Georgia Tech got a good chance to win ACC, but they do got a hard schedule. So I've seen this before, teams who beat a really good team early on in the season, and then next year, they...
Right.
So until I gotta see it week by week, it's Georgia Tech, they might start 6-0, and then next year, I seen that. So
I will say they're good. I don't think they're good enough to win the ACC.
No.
Maybe
I think it's
top 3.
I think it's between Florida State, Clemson. I got them 2 making the ACC championship game. Even though, like I said, you don't think Clemson the same, but I still think Dabo is one of the best coaches in all of college football. You still got Cade Klubnik. He may not be the superstar like Trevor Lawrence, but he's decent. They got a good defense.
And they
some
always
good players sophomore Peter Woods, sophomore forgot his name. He went to Phoenix City Central. What's his name? TJ. Forgot his name, but I remember it later. But they got some pretty good players. I know Dabo doesn't go in the transfer portal, but they don't get the 5 stars they used to get.
Right.
But they still got some talent.
And they always have a good defense.
And I think also SMU might be able to compete. Maybe Louisville, but yes, there'll be some teams in North Carolina, NC State, but I think Florida State, Clemson are the top 2 still.
Right.
But this is going to be pretty interesting. I hope they see it's competitive. I hope Georgia Tech is. Like I said, it was a very good win. I was shocked, but it is the first game of the season. I know people are trashing DJ Ungale. I'm not saying he's an elite quarterback. He's decent. But like I said, but he played pretty well at Oregon State last year. So maybe it's the first game of the season, jitters. looking rusty. Like I said, they play Boston College, Monday, week 1 at home. So I could expect them to bounce back.
And going in the game, you can't take. I don't care who you're playing. You can't take no team lightly.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to go in there. If you're playing, you think you playing a Georgia or Alabama, like you cannot take any team lightly. I don't care who it is, because you will get your butt whooped. So you have to go in there with a mind frame of hey, they just like Alabama, they just like Georgia. They go in here, boom.
I mean, like I said, in Florida State, they did lose some key players. Jared Verse, Brandon Fisk on that defensive line. Jared Verse was a first-round pick by the Rams. Keon Coleman, second-round pick by Buffalo. So, and they lost Johnny Wilson, Jordan Travis. So they did lose a lot of key players. So, but hey, congrats to Georgia Tech getting the win. And see how their season goes.
Yeah.
Haynes King, see how that team goes and competes in the ACC. I feel like they could be a team that could spoil some hopes for some teams to make the ACC championship game. They could be that type of team. Right. I don't know about winning it, but yeah.
Yeah, they could be definitely play spoiler.
But yeah, and a couple of games week 0, but not gonna talk about that. I know New Mexico lost to was it Montana State? Yeah, that's crazy, but I kind of expect it because Montana State is a pretty good, decent FCS program.
Right.
But yeah, also, next I do want to talk about is, the 12-team playoff. It's not no longer 4 teams, it's 12 teams. And Alex, again, we'll talk about it. I don't know if you exactly know the rules for it, how it's going to work.
Right.
So, 12 teams, the top 4 teams, are group of 4, highest ranked group of 4 teams, automatically get or top 4 seeds get a first round bye.
Mm-hmm.
So the SEC champion, the Big Ten champion, the Big 12 champion, ACC, then 4, then followed by the next ranked teams, and then also lastly the highest ranked group of 5 team will get into it. So
I think it'll be everybody have a fair shot there.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I know some people say 12 teams is too much. 8, I think 12 is just fine.
It's just fine. Yes.
I mean, I would have been fine with 10, but
I think 12 maps out that you have.
I know. In a couple of years they're talking about 14. Now I'm like, I feel like 12 is enough, but we'll see.
12 is enough where you can map out, okay, these teams.
Because a lot of teams, like a team like Penn State, could have got in the past 4 years, but because they were 10-2. But the teams I predicted to make the playoff, I'm gonna go in order. To win the Big Ten, it was close between Ohio State and Oregon. And I'm like, it's first year Oregon's now in the Big Ten, no longer the Pac-12. The Pac-12 does not exist anymore. That's crazy, sad to see. But I'm going back and forth, because Oregon got a lot of talent. Dan Lanning is a really, really good coach. They got the transfer Dylan Gabriel from Oklahoma, quarterback who's very good, who's projected to be a Heisman Trophy candidate. You got Tez Johnson. They got a good running game. They got good fast receivers. They got a good defense. Of course, losing former quarterback Patrick Nix to the NFL draft, but yeah, I think Dylan Gabriel is a pretty good quarterback. Like I said, I hope he does end up a Heisman candidate. I wouldn't exactly pick him yet, but we'll see. But it was tough because Ohio State is very, very loaded. Chip Kelly is offensive coordinator. Ryan Day is one of the best coaches in college football, head football coach. They got Wood Howard's not elite, but he's decent. I've seen him play at Kansas State. He's decent. I think better than I forgot his name, the quarterback they had last year, who's now at Syracuse, who transferred. They got Emeka Ibuka, returning senior receiver, who's going to be a first round pick next year, most likely. They got a sophomore, I forgot his name, Tate, sophomore from IMG from last year. They got freshman sensation Jeremiah Smith, who's our top 2 receiver in the 2024 class, and as a report, he's going to start. So he's going to be the first Ohio State freshman to special receiver to start in quite a while. So not even somebody like Marvin Harrison Jr. started. Right. And Jeremiah Smith got a lot of hype, so I definitely look forward to seeing him play. They got the transfer Judkins from Ole Miss. They got Trayvon Henderson coming back, so they're gonna have an elite running game. Their defense is elite. They got Ward, Denzel Burke, who's arguably gonna be a first round pick at corner next year. So they got an elite defense. They got Caleb Downs, a transfer from Alabama. They're pretty loaded at both ends. So
right.
I kind of have to give the edge to Ohio State because I feel like now it wouldn't surprise me if Oregon does win the Big Ten. Now I will say this: I got Oregon beat Ohio State at home, in the regular season, but I think Ohio State wins the rematch in the Big Ten championship game over Oregon. But I think both will get in. But I got Ohio State as the number 1 seed. I think they get in. I think at 11-1. I think they beat Michigan. I got Ohio State winning the Big Ten as the number 1 seed. Number 2 seed, I'm going Georgia. I got Georgia. Now this one I was kind of going. I was like Texas, Georgia. Texas got the talent. Quinn Ewers coming back, but they did lose a speedy receiver, Xavier Worthy. They did lose
the running back.
The running back. They did lose old buddy who's now with the Colts, rookie. I know his name. Number 5. He was a transfer from Georgia a couple years ago.
I know. I
know his name. I know it. So after that, so I probably remember it. They lost him, so they lost their 2 best receivers. They lost one of their best defensive linemen to the draft also. I know his name too. But I had to go with Georgia because I feel like Georgia, even though Georgia did lose also some key players, they always load up. And Carson Beck is arguably one of the best quarterbacks heading into next year's draft. Yes. He's projected to possibly number 1 overall, maybe to the Giants. I mean, I personally would take Shedeur, but Carson Beck is really, really good.
And I agree with Georgia also. And it may not be a problem, but they're trying to find who's going to be the top running back for Georgia.
I mean,
backfield is kind of iffy right now, but
they got the transfer running back,
Etienne.
Yeah, Trevor Etienne.
Yeah,
the younger brother of Travis Etienne for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
But they're always loaded on defense and
and they got a really good defense. Mikael Williams, who's from Columbus, Georgia, he went to Hardaway High School. He's a junior. He's a very good pass rusher. They got some good DBs. Look out for KJ Bolton, some couple of freshmen that's going to be, I think, going to have key roles for Georgia's defense. KJ Bolton, the safety, number 1 safety in the 2024 class, safety out from Beaufort High School, and the number 1 player overall and corner. I forgot his name. From IMG. I don't know why I know his name. Robinson. Elias Robinson. Them two, I think, even Kirby said they're going to have a key role for that Georgia defense. Elias Robinson and KJ Bolden, 2 5-star freshmen. I think they're going to have a good role in their defense. So, like I said, but I will say Georgia does have a hard schedule. I could see them. I think they will beat Alabama. I just feel I think they will. It'll be a close game, but I think they beat Alabama. Texas, I think they probably might lose to Texas on the road. That one.
The 2 toughest games that I think
Tennessee also.
I think they will play probably Ole Miss and Texas.
Yeah. Ole Miss, Texas. They got Tennessee. Ole Miss gonna be really, really good. So it's like.
Not saying they won't beat Alabama, but Alabama's always tough. Man. It's gonna be a tough game.
But I think they beat them because without Nick Saban, that defense, I get Kellen Napier, saying his name, Coach Napier, really good offensive coach. He's gonna have Jalen Milroe ready. They got some talent. Ryan Williams at receiver, he's elite, 5-star. But I just feel like that defense might not be the exact same.
Right.
Without Nick Saban there.
Right.
So I feel like, the offense probably may be fine, but the defense, are you gonna really fear running on Alabama's defense anymore that Nick Saban ain't there? He was the type of coach that coached the DBs. I seen practice footage of him coaching the DBs. Kellen Napier is not doing that. He's not. He's an offensive guy. He's more with the quarterbacks with I forgot his name. Quarterback. I just said Jalen Milroe, and develop him because he said old buddy from Washington.
DeBoer.
Quarterback.
Penix.
Yeah, Michael Penix. I don't know why I'm forgetting. Michael Penix Jr. had a really good season, so I expect the offense to be fine. But I'm going Georgia, number 2 seed, to win the SEC over Texas in the SEC championship game. Number 3, I know they lost to Georgia Tech, but I'm going Florida State. I feel like Florida State will bounce back. They got time. You can win. You can make the playoffs at 10-2 at least. So if the Florida State two hardest remaining games is Clemson and Notre Dame. They got Clemson at home. And it's like, do you really fear Clemson on offense? Cade Klubnik, he ain't really been the same since his freshman year when he when DJ Ungolongole got benched for him, and he's been shaky. I seen him lose to Duke on the road last year. So, like, I don't think nobody really fears Clemson. Even though Dabo's still one of the best coaches in all of college football, but he don't get in the transfer portal. He kind of got, I feel like he got to mix, like, even a little bit. You ain't got to get most of your recruits in the transfer portal, but a little bit. So,
Florida State, even though they did lose a lot of players.
Keon Coleman, Jared Verse, Brandon Fisk.
I still think they filled in those spots with, other players coming in. And maybe this loss that they had to Georgia State be an eye-opener. Like, hey, college football is back. Like, hey, we can't take nobody lightly.
And I feel like as long as they don't lose, I feel like there's no way they lose to both Clemson and Notre Dame.
I don't think they will lose to either one of them.
I don't think so.
I don't think Clemson is strong enough.
And they got Clemson. If it was at Clemson, then like I said, off camera, I'll probably be a little worried then. Now Notre Dame game, because Notre Dame's gonna be really Marcus Freeman, really good defense, really a pretty good coach, defensive coach Spaley. They got transfer quarterback Riley Leonard from Duke.
Right.
I still watched the spring game, so they got some good players. So that game could be tough. That one right there, that Notre Dame game, if they beat Clemson, I feel like, and they keep the Notre Dame game at least close, like they lose close, and then win the ACC championship, they're in. Because if you're winning the ACC, the conference, you're automatically in as a top 4 seed, automatically.
The Notre Dame game might make or break Florida State. If they go all the way and then lose to Notre Dame, unless they have a high ranking, then I don't. And still they could make it, depending on other teams how their records are. So it's still a possibility they could still lose one more game.
I got Florida State as a 3 seed, 4 seed Big 12. I want to say West Virginia. I do got us making the Big 12, but I feel like we'll lose to Utah. I picked Utah because Cam Rising is coming back, even though for the 7th year he's injured, but he's a pretty good quarterback. Utah's always. They won the Pac-12 2 out of the last 3 years. I know last year Washington won the last Pac-12 championship game ever. But Utah has been good. They've been made the Rose Bowl 2 years in a row prior to last year. So they're always competitive. I like their head coach. They're always competitive. And they are the favorites, so rightfully so. So I think they probably should. Now I hope West Virginia wins it, but I'm going Utah because I feel like I trust Cam Rising more than my quarterback Garrett Green for West Virginia.
Right.
But I'll go. Now I know some people. I know like Nick Saban, he got Utah as a 3 seed. But I think the Big 12 champion be the 4th seed and get a first round bye.
I agree.
That's. I know you don't know too much about Utah, but Cam Rising.
I've seen Utah. And they're one of the teams that they'll beat your butt. They have talent.
I seen them give it to Caleb Williams.
Yes.
Multiple times. Like, he couldn't beat them at all. So, Utah's always competitive. Last year, they could have been better, but without Cam Rising, so it's a little tough for them. But, yeah, I got Utah's 4 seed. Now, those are the top 4 teams that get a first-round bye. In my prediction, mock college football 12-team format. Ohio State 1, Georgia 2, Florida State 3, Utah 4. They will get a first-round bye. So, the next teams after that, these teams will get to host a playoff game, but have to play in the first round.
Right.
Texas, I got the 5th seed, so I think losing the SEC championship game, I think they get in.
Mm-hmm.
The 6th seed, I got Oregon, who loses in the Big Ten championship game to Ohio State. 7, I got Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin. Like I said, they probably could make it to the SEC championship game, because like I said, they don't got to play Alabama, and they get Georgia at home.
Right. So they definitely have the talent this year.
And with the old buddy, I forgot his name.
Jackson Dart.
Yeah, Jackson Dart. Yeah, even though they did lose Perkins to the transfer portal, they got a pretty good roster. They got that transfer from Texas A&M, so they loaded.
They lost Perkins.
Yeah, Quinshawn Judkins to Ohio State.
Oh, Judkins. You said Perkins. Yeah. Okay.
Quinshawn Judkins transferred, which I don't know why.
He was having a good season at Ole Miss.
I was shocked about that. But 8th, I don't know if this might shock you, but I got Missouri. The reason is because last year they was way better than I thought. They got Ian Book. They got arguably the best receiver in the nation, Luther Burden III. Ian Book, or I forgot her first name, but Book at quarterback. They beat Ohio State in the New Year's Six Bowl, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. So he looked pretty good. Now, like I said, I think they got a pretty good chance to beat a team like Alabama even on the road. I would not be shocked if Missouri beats Alabama.
I wouldn't either.
I really wouldn't.
They're good.
Even though it's on the road. But I think Missouri has a real good shot to get in.
And like I said, last year they came up short on a few games that they could have won. So we can't count Missouri out.
Yeah. And next I got Alabama. The reason I got them in, even though, like I said, Nick Saban ain't there, Dave Pierce is still a really, really good coach. You got Jalen Milroe. You got that running game. Alabama, they still recruit well. So I think I feel like at worst they go 10-2.
Yeah.
I did a prediction. I got them going 10. The only teams I got them losing to is Missouri and Georgia.
I can see that.
Now I got them beating Tennessee close. LSU. But because I don't trust LSU's defense, I don't know how they're gonna look without Jaden Daniels. watch the spring game. I'm like, how they gonna look without losing Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors? So
they lost key parts.
I think it'll be a close game because it's in Death Valley, and it's most likely gonna be at night. So,
but you never can tell about Alabama LSU game. So you know.
Now if they lose to LSU, I think that they won't get in. I don't think they get in with 3 losses, but 10-2. They go 10-2. I think Alabama's in.
Yeah.
After that, I got Penn State. Like I said, Penn State's a really, really good team. You got James Franklin, who's arguably one of the best college football coaches right now. You got a good quarterback, Drew Aller. They got 2 good running backs, a good defense, a good O-line. Now, I do got them going, getting 10 wins. One of the losses, West Virginia, but we'll get into that predictions and why. But I think Penn State gets in, because every year they're always one of the teams first few out. But they just can't beat Ohio State and Michigan. They don't play. They don't gotta play Oregon. I think they do play Michigan, but I think they could beat Michigan. I think they do play Ohio State still, but I think they can get in with 10. If they go 10-2, I think Penn State could get in.
Yeah,
I think they could really get in, even with losing to my West Virginia Mountaineers, but they can get in. 11 Notre Dame.
Okay.
Like I said, and the Notre Dame's independent, so regardless of their record, they can't be a top 4 seed. So I got them 11th, even though the schedule's not the hardest. I think with 10 wins, Notre Dame can get in.
Right.
They can for sure get in. Marcus Freeman's a really, really good coach. I like Riley Leonard, the transfer from Duke. I like some of the receivers I saw in the spring game and what I watch on YouTube. So I think they could possibly get in.
Yeah.
Notre Dame almost every year is pretty competitive.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And then lastly, 12th, I was going back and forth between Liberty, Memphis, and Boise State. I'm going to Liberty because their quarterback and running back is coming back. Even though they went undefeated in the regular season, they did get blown out by Oregon in the Year 6 Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl. But Liberty shocked me, and they're really, really good. So I think they got a chance to be the highest ranked Group 5 team.
I'm going to say that number 12 spot. I'm going to say them and Boise State. Boise State saw some clips in there that look pretty good. So
I ain't mad at that. Like I said, Boise State could be. I think Boise State, Liberty, maybe Memphis, I think could sneak into that 12. But yeah, what overall do you think of these 12 teams? I know
the list that you call out.
Like I said, Ohio State 1, Georgia 2, Florida State 3, Utah 4, Texas 5, Oregon 6, Ole Miss 7th, Missouri 8th, Alabama 9th, Penn State 10th, Notre Dame 11th, and Liberty 12th.
Yeah, I can agree with that all the way up to 12. Like I said, Liberty/Boise State. And I just think that's a good prediction.
Yeah, and like I said, my matchups, again, how the matchups work: Ohio State first round bye, Georgia first round bye, Florida State first round bye, Utah first round bye. Then after that, the 12th seed, which I have in my prediction, Liberty, they will play Texas on the road.
Okay.
Which that'll be hard in that environment. The next game, 9th seed, Alabama will play number 8 Missouri in a rematch. This time at Missouri. So
it will be a tough game for Alabama.
That definitely would also, but it'll be interesting. Next will be 11 Notre Dame versus number 6 Oregon. That's a pretty good matchup. That atmosphere in Austin Stadium at Oregon. Think how the fans gonna feel with a home playoff game at Oregon. That's gonna be a tough game for Notre Dame also, but an interesting game also. And then the last one, probably one of my favorites, a rematch between last year's New Year's 6 Bowl, the Peach Bowl. Number 10 Penn State versus number 7 Ole Miss. So Penn State will play Ole Miss on the road.
Right.
I think that'll be pretty lit too. That stadium, Ole Miss getting a playoff.
Yeah, I think
game.
Ole Miss will beat them again.
Like I said, my predictions, and that's how pretty much it's gonna work.
Right.
Top 4 seeds get a bye. Then after that, the 5th seed, 8th seed, 6th seed, and 7th seed get to host a playoff because the higher ranked teams host
the playoff.
And then the first 4 get a first round bye, and they'll play in the bowl games after that. It won't be a home field advantage. It'll be a neutral site going forward after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, you find with a 12 team. I know you said
Pretty good prediction. I can go with that. I can go with your prediction.
12 seed, you probably would put Boise State maybe, but I'm going to Liberty because I really like what their returning quarterback. I like what they have, and I think they got a really good shot. Boise State probably be my second option.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, that's, prediction for the 12-team format. But, let's get into these week 1 games. Starting off with tomorrow. I mean, by the time y'all see this, it may be August 29th. I'll try to get it uploaded. But North Dakota State plays Colorado Thursday, August 29th, 7:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be pretty interesting. North Dakota State is always, I feel like this is a team you definitely can't underestimate because they're one of the top FCS programs.
Right, absolutely.
And I feel like I wouldn't be shocked the next couple years or so they go FBS.
Yeah.
Because Delaware State, I think they're moving to the FBS in a couple years. Actually, from what I've seen, they're moving to the Conference USA. Or something.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they do go D1.
Even though this at Colorado, I was sure doing them. I wouldn't take them lightly.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Because I think they won a lot of championships at the FCS level, like national championships, like from Carson Wentz even to Trey Lance and beyond that. Like they have been competitive.
Yeah, you can't take them lightly because they are very talented, well coached. So I'm not sure. I haven't done my homework on Colorado.
I mean, I'll say this: they have fixed the O-line. Transfer portal. Jordan Seaton, the highest ranked offensive lineman in 2024 class, 5-star. He's going to be starting, so that's definitely going to be a huge part. They got a really good. I've seen a couple of them practice. Really good running game. They got some really talented receivers. Of course, you got Travis Hunter's coming back, playing both sides. So they're at the skill position. They're fine. It's that O-line and that D-line.
Yeah.
The secondary. You got Travis. You got Shiloh. Another transfer from Oklahoma State. He looked pretty good. Like the skill players are fine. It's really about that D-line and that O-line.
They fix those spots. I think they'll be very competitive.
I think they make a bowl game. I'm not going to say compete for Big 12, but they going to make a bowl game. And people got to give Deion some slack. He a 1-11 team. I feel like I already knew he was going to win more than one game. That's a success. If you go from 1 win to 4, that's a success.
Absolutely.
Because they won one game before he got there.
And came up short on a couple of games.
And Shador's one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football. Travis Hunter, one of the best overall players in all of college football. So them two gonna be first round picks. And Travis definitely gonna be a top 10 pick.
And I feel like you should get Deion his respect. He brought a 1-win team up from
relevance. At least they was ranked after the first game of the season. Nobody was giving them a chance against TCU on the road,
right?
At all. And they won that. Even though TCU ended up not being as good, but they still went on the road and beat the college football national championship runner-up.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going Colorado. What's your pick?
I'm going Colorado.
Colorado also. I think I hope, like I said, they come ready to play, but I'll say Colorado at least wins by 7 or 10 points. I think they get the job done.
Yeah.
As long as if they protect Shador, they're gonna be fine. You just gotta protect Shador. Yeah. That's the one key. And Travis stay healthy because I know he did get hurt at some point in the season. But they gotta win this because they got Nebraska week 2. That's gonna be a pretty good, especially I can't wait to talk about that. But I'll say that for another episode next week. But also we got another game this weekend, Saturday, August 31st. Number 14 Clemson plays number 1 Georgia in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I kind of looked at it, I was like, is it possible to go to this game? Tickets are really high.
Yeah, absolutely. You already know.
I was like, no, that's a no.
But I see